Hey everyone, thank you for checking in again, watching another video. I appreciate it. If we have yet to meet, my name is Eli Button. I am a social worker, senior living expert, and real estate agent in the Boulder County, Colorado area. And I'm currently heading to an open house this morning that the group that I work with in Boulder, the Bernardi group, is putting on. So I figured on my way there, I may as well talk about why I decided to get into real estate to begin with, and maybe just a little bit more about who I am and my background and where this all came from. So when I was in high school, I guess, I really decided that I want to be a middle school, it was probably when I was in middle school, I decided I want to be a middle school English teacher. And the reason was English was my favorite subject in school, and I had a tough time in middle school with life transitions and adjusting and friends and everything, and I felt like if I could be in the position to be a teacher in that grade, I could provide some sort of empathy, and hopefully that would help kids, because I knew how tough it was at that age. So that was really my goal. When I got into college, I was studying to be a teacher for middle school or high school for English literature, and I got pretty burnt out pretty quickly. I feel like I was just in school more, but it wasn't necessarily like I had this goal that I really wanted to realize. I just had such a limited worldview, and both of my parents worked in the school system, so I felt like in order to choose a career, I had to choose one of these subjects that I've been studying and then just study that more. I didn't think to go completely outside of the box. I didn't study law in high school, so I didn't think to go into law for college, and that's just how limited I was. So I felt like it just wasn't for me. And although I graduated with this degree, I knew I would have to find some alternate route. I didn't really believe there would be money in writing or reading, and I had this sort of feeling like my degree didn't mean anything. And whether or not that's true, that's just something that I dealt with personally with a liberal arts degree and my own sort of judgments on myself for not going through and finishing the education degree portion. But I just knew I wasn't going to teach, so I didn't want to waste more time. So I worked other miscellaneous jobs, and then I got into healthcare. When I moved to Colorado in 2014, I got into senior care and healthcare, and I've been with that realm ever since. And I felt like I found my calling. And I started working with this agency that provided care management and legal guardianships. And I asked the owner, what would it take for me to not be the reception person, but to be a care manager? And they said, well, get your social work degree. So it was already aligned with what I was comfortable doing for years. I was working in the office, setting up people's appointments, calling them, checking in on how they're feeling, relaying information to families, doing the fundamentals of a social worker just without the degree, which I was told is what I needed to be a care manager. So I got the degree, and then after I got the degree, I was told that there was never a conversation that I could be a care manager once I got the degree. So I felt a little bit confused by that, and I left that company. And that's when I went on to become a mental health therapist. And once I was doing the mental health therapy for about a year and a half or so, I picked up another job with the same company as a behavioral counselor, where I would drive into the community and meet with individuals with developmental disabilities and work on behavioral challenges. After that job, I went into the skilled nursing facility as the social work director, and I worked at a very challenging community. both in the care and its reputation and what little resources we had available. But I was the social worker, and eventually I gained a reputation in the community for my hard work and follow through and the amount of care I would show residents in this community. And that actually led to me being recruited for this sales job. And so I got this call from the senior living community where I work now, and they asked me if I wanted to do their admission sales commission job. And it was oddly serendipitous because a few months prior to being offered this job, I had said I went to school for English literature. After a while, I felt pretty burnt out on reading and writing, and then I went to social work school, and I was reading and writing research all the time, and then I felt pretty burnt out, so I didn't touch any books or anything voluntarily for quite a while. But I went to this bookstore in Superior, Colorado, and I picked up a stack of business books and sales books just because I felt like that's something I don't know. I know a lot about history. I've read a lot of fiction and novels, and I understand quite a bit about communication and body language and empathy, but I don't know really any fundamentals about sales. Some about business, but none to any incredible extent. So I thought, well, at least if I'm going to read something, it could be a totally new skill or new thing that I know nothing about, and that would be a bit more enjoyable. And it was. So I started reading that, enjoyed that, got pretty motivated by the information, and then I got this call asking if I wanted a sales and commission job. And I thought, well, with my work ethic, I will do well. I won't accept not doing well. So I decided to take the job. But when I got offered the job, I thought, well, if people are moving into a senior living community, there's a good chance they're selling their home to afford moving into a senior living community. So whoever's on the other side of this transaction might not care about older adults as much as I do, and might not understand their specific pain points and issues and the reality of their situation, or bother to understand. Older adults are so often overlooked and undervalued, and I feel like that's just a fundamental aspect of our society when anyone's not making income, when anyone's not contributing to society by working. And even though older adults have already spent their time doing that, because they're not doing it anymore, they're no longer flashy. It's no longer attractive. So I just don't think like that. And I understand the value that older adults bring, to my life, but also the wisdom. And you can't pull one over on an older adult. They've seen everything. And you might think you can, but that's when you get the bad reputation. So I just care a lot. And I feel like too many people don't care. Maybe it's not that they don't care enough, but they don't care as much as I do. And so I decided that I would just get a real estate license. So if the opportunity comes up, and it's not like it's something that I talk about at the senior living place where I work, because even though no one said it to me personally, I feel like that's a conflict of interest. But I have so many connections in the older adult community, and I care so much that just by the word spreading, that is how business comes. So I decided right when I got offered this job, this sales job, that I would look around for a real estate group to intern with. And so I looked up the top earning real estate groups in Boulder, Colorado, and one of them that I found was the Bernardi Group, and they were ranked number 1, and from what it looked like, they were ranked number 1 in the state under Karen Bernardi. And so I reached out and I asked if I could intern, and I wrote a letter about my work ethic and how I got the job that I got based on word of mouth and they took me in. And I was working my job at the senior living for 10-hour days, and then I would work 2 full days in the office with the real estate group. And so now I'm actually down to 1 with the real estate group and 5 at the senior living place for now. But I just learned a lot. And while I was learning, I was going through the real estate course, and I said, you don't have to pay me. I have a job that pays me rather well, but I just want to learn about real estate. I want to be around it, and I want to know what I need to do when it comes time to best represent the people that I'm looking to represent. And I'll help anyone, of course, but the reason why I got into it was for the specific group of people that I feel like are marginalized. So that's really my reason. I'm excited to go see this house. Our buyer's agent, Megan Evo, is showing. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. But really, it's a Sunday morning. I'm just going there on my 1 day off to try to learn more. And I'm excited about that. So anyway, looking forward to it. I might take a little clip of the house just to show you guys where I'm at once I get there. But otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Always love just chatting. I mean, I wish I could get you guys to chat back. I'll have to find a way to figure that out one of these days. But either way, thanks for tuning in, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon.